Hi there, welcome to today's video. I am Natasha of Natasha Miller Creates, and today we are setting up my July bullet journal. As usual, I'm a bit late sharing my setup with you, but I was super excited because my Archer and Olive sub box came, so I was able to use my B5 ruler, and this is probably one of my favorite things they've ever done. Obviously, their notebooks are my most favorite supply that they have, but this B5 journaling ruler just blows my mind. I love the A5. I've been using the A5 since it came out, but this B5 is it for me. I'm so excited. But let's get into my theme. I decided to go with stamping for my July layout. It wasn't my first choice. I was a bit slow getting my stuff done for the theme I wanted to do, but that's okay. I'm going to use it for August. The nice part about summer being July and August is that you can just use if you don't use your theme for July, you can use it for August. The irony is that my theme's not really summery. It's just really fun and I'm really excited for it. But let's get into this month. So you will see what I do for August, but let's get into July. I guess I should put a warning that there are bugs, like stamps. I stamp with bug images. So if that's not your deal, you might not want to watch this. I will talk you through it though, if you want to listen instead. I am using my Tim Holtz Distress ink in Lost Shadow, and I'm just kind of creating a grayish background. It's not a very dark color. It's just got a little bit of that cool gray tinge to it. And I used a Altenew stamp set to say documented. That's the stamp you see at the top there. And I guess it kind of turned into an ornithology log or a bug log. And I guess this theme would also fit very well for a Halloween or an October theme. My excuse is A, I needed to do something because I needed to use my journal. And B, you get lots of bugs in the summer, and where I'm at, it's summer. So I thought this was appropriate. I'm using a set from Tim Holtz. All of these stamps I use in terms of the moths and the bugs and the script, it's all Tim Holtz. The stamp set I'm using right now is Stampers Anonymous Tim Holtz collection, and it's Moth Study. I bought these not too long ago off of scrapbook.com. They're linked over on my blog, which is linked down below, so you can head on over there if you wanted to grab these. They're super fun, and I was actually really excited to use them. So what I ended up doing when I realized I wasn't going to be ready with my original plan, I was lucky enough to go through my stamp drawers and pick a theme. And I thought the most cohesive theme I could come up with was this bug moth study setup that I did. I actually used a ton of different stamp sets. I will talk you through them. These stamp sets I have acquired over time. I just want to be very specific about that. And then, of course, I'm using the different kinds. So these are rubber stamps, and I find them very easy to use. The only reason why I don't use these for very specific images or very specific stamps I want to use is they aren't clear like the acrylic, so you can't see exactly where you're placing the stamp. I hope that makes sense. But because it's rubber, you can't see through it, so you can't place it exactly where you want, which you will see. I don't want to say becomes an issue later, but you'll see what I mean by that later on in my setup when I get to my weekly layouts. So I'm using the VersaFine pigment ink. The reason why I'm using pigment ink is because it doesn't bleed through the page. Now, the 160 GSM can hold the dye ink really well. Dye ink is water-based, so it tends to bleed through. Yes, it dries a lot quicker, but it'll bleed through the page. So pigment ink needs a little bit more time to sit, and it doesn't bleed through or goes through. Now, the giant stamp you see on the left there that I just stamped July 2024 with, that is from Studio Calico, and that is the Mega Date stamp. I love using this thing, and so when I realized I was going to do this bug study theme, I was going to use every rotary date stamp I had, and that one was no exception. I don't get to use it very often or as often as I'd like, but when I do use it, it's a blast. The stamp set I'm using now is from the Stamps Anonymous Tim Holtz collection ledger script. And when I got this, I thought it went so well with the bug study theme. I think I got it all together on a sale at scrapbook.com. Like I said, I've built my stamp collection over time, so please know that. I didn't just go out and buy all of this in one go. The washi that I'm using is from my own shop, in shop Natasha Miller Creates, and that is linked as well, so you can go check that out. Right now, I just have super basic washi. I'm toying with the idea of bringing in more washi, but we'll see what the future brings. This stamp set is from Studio Calico. Studio Calico, it's a little bit tougher to link their stamps, as if they sell out, they're rarely come back, but you can sign up for notifications. If they still have this stamp set, I will link it down below. I didn't really use it for much. I just used it for accents here and there, which you'll see. And this is washi from the washi tape shop. And I thought I didn't realize it was individual stickers. I thought it was just one long piece of washi. So it kind of pivoted there a little bit. And then the quote that I'm using is from the Tim Holtz Ideology Small Talk sticker set. And it says, "What seems ordinary is often the extraordinary." My next layout is my calendar layout. Now, I do apologize. This video is a little bit more choppy than my other videos. I had camera focus issues. The autofocus on my camera turned on again. And so there are bits and pieces that didn't work out quite how I wanted. And I didn't want you guys to stare at a blurry screen. So I do apologize for that. But if you have any questions, please just reach out down below and I'll be happy to answer them. So this is my calendar layout. I'm sticking to the same setup I've been doing since the beginning of the year, which is the cover page, the calendar layout, the monthly overview, the weeklies, and then the month in review. Here I'm using my Altenew documented stamp again. And I really like these because they have noted, documented, recorded, and that's what I wanted to use for this setup. And now I am masking off an area that I don't want to have a stamp in. And so you'll see how I'm lining it up there. You want to make sure that you have an acrylic block to match the size of the stamp you're using. Now, with the rubber stamps, they're a little bit more forgiving. As you can see, my stamp doesn't quite fit on my block. But like I said, they're a little bit more forgiving. But if you're using acrylic or photopolymer stamps, you want to make sure your acrylic block fits your stamp so that you're best able to apply pressure evenly. And that's how you're going to get a perfect stamp finish or a good enough stamp finish. If you are missing that pressure, that's when it's going to look blotchy or not stamp all the way. As always, I am doing my borders with my black Tombow, and I'm using the acrylographs for my tabs. I've said it before, I really like using the acrylographs for the tabs because of the way they dry. I feel they dry a little bit harder, which reinforces the tabs, which kind of keeps them safe. So that's why I love using that. One thing, if you're using the Tim Holtz Ideology stickers, the small talk stickers I used, they do stand up a little bit. So they are going to create a bit of a ridge. So just keep that in mind. This stamp set is one of my newer ones. It is from Heidi Swap. I bought it recently, saw the ad on Facebook, and decided to add them to cart. And I'm super excited to use them. I can't remember why I was drawn to them in the first place, but now that I have them, they were just perfect for this theme. And this stamp that I'm using here, it says Details. It is from Feed Your Craft. Unfortunately, she closed her shop. I have so many of her stamps that I use over and over and over again. And maybe that was the problem, because you don't necessarily need more stamps when you have such nice, super functional stamps. And this set is vintage lowercase, again from scrapbook.com. And I'm just stamping the first letter of the day of the week. And then the column on the far right, that's going to be for my notes. This is inspired by Joshi Koren. She actually doesn't use this anymore, but I started using it, I think, toward the beginning of the year, and I've loved having that there as an option. So basically, those are important things to know for that week. Sometimes I put something in there, sometimes I don't. It's just nice to have as an option to jot down some information. And here I'm using my Lumos pen for my lines, outlining my lines and putting in the days of the month. And I switched out from a 0.3 nib, which is my favorite size, to a 1 so that I could get that thicker line. And now I'm just going in and adding in details. I'm so sorry that the bottom of the page is cut off. I don't think I do anything there for the rest of this section, so it's not too bad. I'm just going in and adding in some stamp details, and you saw me previously go in with my distress ink and my sponge, and I just added in a little bit of that gray there as well. So this is a very different color palette than what I normally work with. Normally, I like to use brighter colors or pastels, but I think this is the first time in a long time that I've done a monotone black and gray layout. And considering it's July, which is summer in the Northern Hemisphere where I'm from, it was a bit of a departure. The end of June was a little bit chaotic and resulted in some emotional turmoil for myself. Nothing very serious, but enough that it left an impact on me, and I've kind of been struggling, and everything has been so busy with work and then summer starting, end of school. I don't like change. I hate change to begin with, and I feel like the end of June is always so full of change. Anytime my husband and I have moved, it's been in June, and I think I still hold on to those feelings I've had when we did move. So June is a rough month for me to begin with, and things just kind of imploded in my personal life unnecessarily, and so here we are. I end up with a gray and black monotone layout in my journal. I still find it to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm not used to working in monotones, so it was a bit of a different challenge for me, and I still feel it's creative, obviously, and it still makes me happy because it's so cohesive and different from what I'm used to, but still like a lot of fun. This layout is my monthly overview layout. I use it to document important dates, what I need to be doing for my art licensing, goals, and then a general to-do list for the month. This layout actually ties into my content planner. I will link that down below so you can check that out, but in my content planner, I have my goals listed and basically the content I want to create around those goals or what I want to accomplish around those goals. And so I'm actually changing my mind about what I want to do for a goal planner. So that book is going to remain my content book, but my goals will be moving into a different notebook. I'm still in the process of reworking my goals. The goals I set out at the beginning of the year, I think were, I don't want to say ambitious, but they were definitely not as well thought out as they could have been and not as detailed as they should have been, given how my brain works. So that's definitely something I was hoping to have revisited those goals and my goal notebook by now. Life just happens and I haven't had a chance to finish what I wanted to do. And so that is still an ongoing process, but I will be happy to share that with you once I have that set up. The page on the right is where I do my word of the year work. So I've mentioned it before, Ellie Edwards has a one little word program, and I signed up for it in 2023, 2022. I don't remember, but I never finished it. And so I've been wanting to use this page to work through that. So that's some catching up I have to do too, but we'll get there. Like I said, I was very ambitious when I first set out my goals and what I wanted to accomplish. So now it's just breaking it down into more realistic pieces that I can actually accomplish. So this next layout is my first weekly. I'm using the same layout I've been using basically since the beginning of the year. On the left-hand side, I have my daily boxes where I write down appointments or events or meetings that I have coming up. On the right-hand side, I have a habit tracker and then a to-do list. The to-do list is in two pieces. I haven't labeled them as such, but the one list is for my personal to-dos. The other list is for my work to-dos. This list has been adapted from the Alistair method. Basically, I was using the Alistair method. I really liked it, but I was finding I was moving the dots over. So if you're not familiar with the Alistair method, it's basically where you write out your to-do list, and on the right-hand side, you have a column for the days of the week, and you mark in the column under the day that that task needs to be done. That was a little bit too restrictive for me. For the most part, my tasks are pretty flexible. Yes, there are days that they need to get done for, but not necessarily have to get done on a specific day. So I wasn't really using that to its full potential. So I decided to get rid of that and then just have a generic to-do list with tick boxes. If anything absolutely has to be done on a specific day, it goes into my daily box on the left-hand side, which you will see. So like I said, I carried over my bug theme. I'm just chuckling. If anybody watches Bridgerton, you might understand why I'm laughing about the bug theme. No spoilers, but yes. Anyways, I am putting together my list. I decided to keep it on theme by putting a tab, and in the tab I'm stamping documented. I'm also grabbing a stamp that says details, and then you will see the script stamp make an appearance again. The B5 ruler, one more time, I absolutely love it. It's got a list of boxes in a row, and it skips a box, so it's absolutely perfect for my to-do lists. And the previous stencil, the A5, only had the one box, so it was very manual in terms of moving the ruler down along the page as you drew your boxes. It's such a small thing, but it actually makes such a big difference to me because it's just so much quicker. And also the A5 had little notches for where the middle of the page would be for your A5 notebook. The B5 doesn't have that, so that's really fun too. I'm thinking about doing a favorite things video, so let me know down below if you want to know what my favorite things have been this year. I've tried a lot of different things and newer things this year, and I've mentioned in previous videos I've been a lot more specific on what I'm spending my money on, and I've really been enjoying the purchases that I have made. For example, the Tom Studio Lumos pen was new to me. I have my B5 ruler that I absolutely love. And then I have some other stuff that I've tried out and really enjoy. So let me know down below if that is something you want to see. I am excited to get started on setting up August because the theme is pretty much done. So because I was going through such a hard time toward the end of July, middle to end of July, I was having a really hard time being creative, and I was being really hard on myself. I do consider myself to be a perfectionist, and it's something I work through every day. So if you see stamp marks on my page, I am struggling with it internally, but it also comes down to time, and is it worth my time to go back and fix that? It's another reason why I actually love this theme, because the random stamp marks or the bits of ink that got everywhere kind of makes sense because it looks like a field notes book. And so I was actually really happy with little marks throughout my pages. So that was kind of a nice surprise, and I might try and build that into future themes when I'm stamping so much so that I'm not feeling that pressure to make it perfect or fix it. So I digress. I'm so sorry. I got to my lettering for my cover page and things just kind of fell apart. I started being really hard on myself. It didn't feel like it was good enough. I changed my mind about 3 or 4 times, and so I decided to just cut my losses, step away from it to give myself a break, to be able to regroup, refocus, and kind of shut down the negative thought spiral. the more time I was spending with it, the more upset I was getting, and that wasn't productive. So not just from a setting up a journal or a work standpoint, just life in general, and trying to change to more, I don't want to say positive thinking, but, prevent those spirals to begin with. It was not productive. So I just walked away from it, and I looked at my supplies. I looked at what I enjoy doing, and I haven't done stamping, or at least this amount of stamping in a while now. So I figured I have enough stamps. I haven't used some of them. These rubber stamps, it's my first time using them. As you can see, a lot of them were super clean before I started this layout. And so it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to have those bits and pieces thought out for me and just have to decide where I wanted to put it on a page. So yeah, if you're struggling with being hard on yourself, I strongly suggest taking a step away from it. I will be coming back to it with fresh eyes. It's been a couple weeks now since I've looked at it, so I'll be going back and finishing it up. It's something I do want to finish, but a different perspective now will hopefully help and not be so hard on myself. So I don't share the other layouts that I did, but they're very similar to this one, and you can head on over to my Instagram and you can see the stills of what those layouts look like. I am already using my journal because it's already past the first week of July, and I really needed to use it because, a creative journaling kind of gets a bad rap in terms of people thinking we don't use our notebooks, but I absolutely do. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, let me know down below if you want to see what my favorite things are and what I'm reaching for now when I'm doing my journals or just being creative in general. And let me know if you have any questions about stamping or questions about my setup. I would love to answer them and help you out. Stamping is something I really enjoy, and I really do think it is a fun way to journal and functionally plan and creatively plan. So thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. For more bullet journal content, make sure to check out this video or this video. Thank you for watching today.